Hey guys, so still working on the Momocon cosplay, and we contacted a new friend, Drew, over at Red Horse Leather, who is a fantastic leather worker. This is all of his information, but also happens to cast things occasionally, like fun fantasy things and such, and he was our absolute first choice and best option for getting together the Deathsinger's gaze helmet for my half of our costumes. And so this is going to be my first look at the raw cast that he sent over for us. I'm very, very excited to kind of check it out. I've never worked with a resin cast helmet like this. Most of the helmets that I've built myself have been out of Pepakura or cardboard and then fiberglassed over. So just the sheer level of detail that you're able to get out of something like this should be very impressive. So lots and lots of bubble wrap. Wow. And somewhere in here will be the Deathsinger's gaze. I guess this is what we're looking at. We'll kind of come over here and start. It's going to be a really large helmet. I guess that's necessary. These are definitely the ear pieces. You can see them here. Oh no! There we go. Slowly but surely we will extract our... I'm actually not sure what the rarity level of the Deathsinger's gaze is now that I'm thinking about it, but very, very cool. What a great job packaging it. Like, have to talk about something while I'm getting it out. Wow. Just incredible. Even with the spill that we're gonna have to trim off, and obviously, like, knock knock, gonna have to cave that open so that we can get inside, but just phenomenal work. Really, really cool. Looks heavy, but that's great. That's got plenty of durability. It's a solid resin casting. I guess it's actually hollow. I'm using solid in terms of, like, it is a solid replica. It looks exactly like what we need it to look like, and taking this off is going to be just as simple as a little bit of light sandpaper and then maybe some Dremel work to carve out this face portion, but I think that this is going to look really, really cool with the rest of the costume. So I'm going to cut and start trimming it out, but it should look really, really neat by the time it's all said and done. As always, guys, I recommend gloves if you're not super duper comfortable with rotary tools, and regardless of how comfortable you are, eye protection every time, all the time. So let's get in here and start cleaning this up. Lots of dust. Face mask would not be out of place. Alright guys, so this is Deathsinger's gaze right before I put on a base coat of paint. You can see that it's starting to look much nicer. It looks like an actual wearable helmet. It is a little bit small. It barely fits, but it does fit. In order to get it to fit, I had to spend the better part of an afternoon. I probably spent about 7 or 8 hours total deburring all of these inside kind of points where the drips were cutting into my head, and then I left this strut because it seemed fine and wasn't doing too much. Then getting the face and collar completely deburred and sanded out, so like these parts in particular had to be thinned a great deal just so that it wasn't cutting my ears when I was taking it on and off. But that's what it looks like. It gets on and off kind of by like prying it open here, and then it snaps back to form, which is really, really cool. Wanted to make sure that I had as much visibility as possible in this area here, but it's starting to look really smooth, and the detail really shows through once you get rid of all of the excess and the flash and such. So I think that it's ready to go, and I'm going to start putting on base coats of paint now, and then we will do some dry brushing for the accents. But I really wanted to show it to you in its raw form because I think that that's super duper cool. As always, when doing something like this that's wearable, and the same concept for Nerf guns applies, if you're going to be able to see part of the inside, paint that first. So I'm going to do my base coat first along the inside so that if anybody sees inside it at any point, it doesn't look like it was a resin cast. It looks like it's actually some sort of magical metal material of some kind. So the way that this helmet looks in the game is actually really interesting. I looked at some of the 3D renders, and depending upon how light hits it, both in-game and what your renders are, has a very different kind of metallic sheen. So if I pull it out here into the light, you can kind of see what I'm doing is through a combination of a flat black vinyl dye and then dustings under and over that vinyl dye of this. This is a golden enamel, and then this is a duplicolor enamel. What is this? This is gunmetal. It's letting me get this kind of cool shimmer pattern on some of the black. So it still looks black, but on some of these edges and such, I'm getting that really interesting highlight, and that's really what you want for something that looks like an otherworldly metal, which is definitely what the helmet is supposed to kind of give you that feel. And I think that it's coming together really nicely. These painting techniques seem advanced and give you a really professional finish, but it couldn't be any easier. It's just like a layer of black vinyl dye, then in the places where you want the gold to shine through, a layer of gold enamel, and then I dusted over that with some gunmetal, and then dusted over that with black vinyl while blending in some of the seams just by like a couple of heavier, almost like brush strokes, but sprays. So heavier sprays going heavy to light lets you blend in the matte black in the front into that kind of gold dusting. So hopefully that's helpful for you if you're trying to replicate this sort of finish and really get that professional look to your prop. If it isn't, I don't know how to explain it better, as I am not a professional prop maker. So after a whole lot of trial and error, I selected and cut out a bunch of pieces of this. This is soft shipping foam. It's just the softest version of foam that I had in my packing materials bin, and shouldn't be too hard to find. Definitely not very expensive. Could probably get it at your local post office or in a recycling area or something like that. Anyway, I cut two shapes. One of them is just a square panel for the back of my cranium to rest, and then this one actually just pushes my head back into the helmet so that this face mask sits forward in front of my face as opposed to having my face up against it. So again, just a little bit of trial and error. Everybody's heads are going to be a different shape, so I can't tell you exactly where to put yours, but this worked for me. The helmet is so narrow that I couldn't put anything on the side plate, so I just have to kind of deal with that. But I'm going to go ahead and hot glue these in, and then it should be ready for a final wearability test. Alright guys, so this is the final segment on the Deathsinger's Gaze helm. It's a legendary warlock helm from Crota's End Raid. It's hard to get in the game, but I can assure you with all the work that I've put into this that it's much harder to get in real life. So putting it on top of a black Zentai hood gives you the look that you're going for with your Voidwalker character, and I think that it turned out really sweet. It's very comfortable, there's not a ton of rattle, and it moves very easily. It would even be practical for a nerfing event, which is kind of funny if I wanted to actually throw down with the last word. So this is how you make your very own Deathsinger's Gaze helmet from the video game Destiny. I hope you enjoyed it. As always guys, thanks for watching.